The Pirates just shut out the A's for the 22 straight innings and dropped an 11 spot in the finale. But the real fireworks came after the game, or before the game, when Ben Cherington faced the media and gave us a whole lot to chew on. Let's get into it next on Locked On Pirates.
You are Locked On Pirates, your daily Pittsburgh Pirates podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Pirates, your daily podcast covering all things Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm your host, Gary Morgan, and today we're breaking down a dominant weekend series against the Oakland A's, especially the pitching clinic the Pirates put on, and then diving deep into Ben Cherington's press availability at PNC Park. With the season winding down and no guarantee of his return in 2026, Cherington still had a lot to say, so let's get started. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. So the Pirates beat the crap out of the A's 11-0 in the finale, and they finished this series with 22 scoreless innings and a definitive home field advantage. I mean, this was game 156 of the season at PNC Park, and it happened to be the very last one they would play here this year. Mike Burrows, 5 innings pitched, scattered hits all around. He did have some traffic. It looked like he was going to have a short outing there, 62 pitches to get through 3 innings. He kept the A's off the board. Carmen Mlodzinski would come in and take care of a good stretch after that. Johan Ramirez and Dowry Moreta combined for 4 scoreless innings to close it out. It was an offensive explosion. Joey Bart was 4 for 4 with a 3-run homer and an RBI double. Man, where has that been all season long? Jared Triolo, 4 hits, including a 2-run homer and RBI single. He is absolutely scorching hot right now, and there is just no denying it. If you're denying it at this point, it's because you just absolutely can't see any path for this kid to be even okay. He has had a tremendous finish to this season. Nick York doubled, hit the ball hard today, played some really good defense at second base. Andrew McCutchen, big RBI single. He walked, bat flip on that walk. Crowd gave him a really great standing ovation just about every time he came up. There were some murmurings running around that this might be Kutch's last home game in a Pirates uniform, and he's been non-committal about coming back. The only thing he's really been committed about is that he wants to come back and play again, period. Not here necessarily. So, I mean, there's a lot of speculation being born from all this, and the crowd gave it to him today, like out of respect, no matter what happens. Spencer Horwitz walked a couple times, RBI ground out, didn't have a hit, but Spencer Horwitz continues to produce. Nick Gonzalez, RBI double, solid defense. Jack Sawinski even had a double all the way to the notch, kind of an unlucky double. It could have scored a run if it hadn't bounced over the wall, but and it was a poke. And there's more great stuff that happened today if you really want to know. Cheese Chester won the pierogi race, so you know who the champion is for the year. But this home field advantage for the Pirates, it's been interesting. This was their last one, so we can confidently say now they have a winning record at home, 44-37 at home, compared to their 23-52 on the road. So obviously their stats should be way, way, way better at home, and now we can look at them with only 6 games left and know they're pretty darn close to what we're looking at. The home batting average was 245, just 214 on the road. The home OPS, 683, road OPS, 618. That's a 65-point swing. They've scored 291 runs at home versus 238 on the road. The team clearly performs better at PNC Park, especially offensively, but it hasn't been enough to overcome their road struggles. And it also doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense because PNC Park is traditionally a very difficult ballpark to hit in. So nothing about this makes any sense. This was the most complete game of the season, though, today. Pitching, hitting, defense, all clicking. Pirates are a competitive team at home, but their road woes and season-long offensive inconsistency have kept them from contending, clearly. So what is this about at home? Like what is it? I mean, we've brought this up multiple times. We've tried to figure out what it may or may not be. I've put forward that I thought maybe there's something to this. We have to play this kind of small ball approach at PNC Park, and then when we get outside of PNC Park, we kind of let that go because we think we're going to do a lot more on the home run side of things. And I mean, they have hit more home runs on the road, but they have won next to no games on the road. So one would think that like their new approach of swinging as hard as they can hasn't been working out either. And despite this offensive explosion today that the Pirates had, or yesterday, I should say, let's not forget, like, that was a squeaker of a game too on Saturday where Bubba and Braxton Ashcraft really kind of contributed mightily to another shutout effort. And this one, the Bucks only scored a couple runs. So, I mean, there was a much more stressful shutout in Saturday's game than there was Sunday. But that's the type of performance that this pitching staff is capable of. And I know, like, if you just look at the standings, you might say, oh, well, it's the A's. You know, what are you going to do? That's the A's. Of course the Pirates should have beaten them. Look at their record. Yeah, well, look at where the A's are offensively in the league. They came into this series ranking third amongst AL teams, like as far as like being a dangerous lineup, and they are. And we came into this series drooling over a lot of those offensive options, and to be honest, the Pirates shut them down. Even going back to Friday, you're talking about one big swing off Mitch Keller. You know, I mean, it was a three-run homer by Butler on Friday that kind of set the tone for that game. Otherwise, the Pirates win another squeaker potentially. You know, this is the kind of team that they're building, a team that can pitch their way into victory. But man, you've got to have the offense that they produced at home this year, at least. They got to get the numbers on the road to raise up to that level. If they did that, they might be able to convert their league-leading one-run game stats in the other direction just enough to make it matter. And I'm not saying this as an excuse to send them off into the world not trying all that hard to replace the talent or like add talent to this group. I'm just saying all they are really is a PNC playing methodology on the road away from being a team that already is a lot closer to what we're hoping they end up being. Speaking of that, and the way that Ben Cherington's been speaking, we really got to talk about his press availability that he had here. There was some newsy stuff that came out of it, and I think it's worth us discussing. It's probably going to take us the last two segments of today's show. And before I do go to break, I just want to apologize quickly for the audio quality. I am on the road. I couldn't bring my whole suite of equipment with me, so I hope it sounds okay. I tested it a couple times, and it's acceptable to me. So let's move forward and push through. This episode is brought to you by Zippix toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram or 3 milligram nicotine options, And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. I just got these caffeine toothpicks from them the other day. They come with this great little case. You can store your toothpicks in there, so it's not like you're fumbling with those. You just flick one out, take it. I just got done with a long drive to Charlotte and 7 hours in the car. You need a little pick-me-up. Caffeine toothpicks are great for that. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com. Use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get the boost when you need it. I'm going to be traveling a lot these next couple weeks. 5-hour energy will be in my backpack. I will absolutely use it to get through the ups and downs of getting to the airport on time, getting up early, not sleeping on the plane, everything involved in it. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new. In store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Hey, welcome back to Locked On Pirates. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit me with a like, drop a comment in here. Ask me anything question. We're getting towards the end of the season. Time for you to start telling me what you want that roadmap to look like. What do you want me to cover first as we start on the journey of helping this team remake themselves as they head into 2026? So Ben Cherington had a press availability, and the first newsy thing that came out of this, really, he's got no assurance that he is coming back in 2026. He's just basically doing his job as though he is. He basically said, I don't know if any of us in this room ever have full assurance of anything. I still want to do it. I badly want to do it. So there's been some rumors going around that there was some kind of a understanding of what he was supposed to be doing, and he was going to be coming back if he did X, Y, or Z. Apparently, very untrue. So that's one thing. That means that the last stated thing from the owner that anyone has is what we had reported by Dejan Kovacevic way back when, that he was probably dead man walking here. Okay? It doesn't mean anything till it happens, but it did happen. And I also want to just interject here. I'm going to remind everybody that the last time that Bob Nutting actually did go forward with firing his general manager and his president, he didn't do it immediately. It took about 2 weeks to get around to it, or 2 months to get around to it, I should say. We were long since all done and fumed and ready. Pitchforks are ready by the time that actually came to be. So we'll see if he's learned anything from that too, and maybe a little more instant gratification if he's going to move forward there. 6 seasons, 0 winning records, and now likely a third 90-plus loss season. Offensive struggles came up, dead last in Major League Baseball in slugging, OPS, home runs, scored 28th in batting average and hits. And here's all he really had to say about all that. And I just thought it was kind of funny. Sleepless nights wrestling with it every day. We've got to score more runs. Listen, for years now, just about everybody involved with this team, Derek Shelton, Bob Nutting, Travis Williams, Ben Cherington, Don Kelly, and various hitting coaches, players, pitchers, even discreetly after their outings are wasted over and over again, have said we have to score more runs. Conventional wisdom tells you how you have to go about doing that, and it's by getting hitters. And so they started pressing him on some of these internal hitters, right? O'Neal Cruz, tell us the story here. And Ben Cherington basically said he's not injured. So that's something that I conjectured last week on the show about O'Neal Cruz, and turns out not injured. Just struggling with swing decisions and approach. Offseason will be key for him, and the team still believes in his upside. On Jared Triolo, he was praised for his versatility and solid contact metrics. He could be part of a deeper, more reliable lineup next year. Ben Cherington said they still have to focus on internal versus external improvement. I think we all understand this, truthfully. We can pretend we don't, but we all understand why this is the case. He definitely believes in the pitching foundation, as we all should. Offense needs both internal development and off-season acquisitions. The general trope about the fans deserving better and it's not going to happen until we score more runs. So he was pressed on an awful lot of stuff, and I thought the questions were pretty spirited, actually. Reporters really tried to pin him down on some things as far as, basically, for lack of a better way of putting it, he was basically directly asked, like, hey, you're on the hot seat. Why do you act like you aren't? I mean, that's the nicest way I can put the way that I felt he was talked to in that press get together. And he handled it pretty well, I thought. He basically said, like, I haven't had any kind of an assurance. They haven't told me not to act as though I'm coming back. So I'm acting as though I'm coming back, which, that's what he should be doing. I mean, and if Bob Nutting has secretly been planning to fire him this whole time, and they decided to just let him go forward with all these important and critical functions like the trade deadline, and I mean, we're going to be coming right up on December roster decisions here pretty soon, and the tender, non-tender deadline, and there's never going to not be important decisions coming right around the corner. So if Bob Nutting let him go and do all that without any kind of a clarification, like, hey, watch your step, hey, run everything past me for this reason and that reason, hey, let's form some kind of a committee before we pull the trigger on anything, hey, let's at least talk about the vision for the future, and even just in case you're going to stay, what is your plan moving forward? A lot of this stuff is what I kind of take from it, because when Ben Cherington basically says, I'm just going to keep moving forward, and I think this is how I'd like to do it, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if Bob Nutting has even bothered to ask, if I decide to keep you around, what can I expect? What is the plan to get out of this hole that we've dug for ourselves? Or do we just literally keep leaving it at get better, hit better, got to score more runs? Do we just continue to say those tropes? Is that the way Bob Nutting is communicated with? I mean, if I'm Bob Nutting, I want specifics. I want well, listen, Bob, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to part with one of these young starters that I'm super excited about. I just don't have a damn choice. Unless you're going to give me some kind of a major expansion in the payroll figure, I'm going to have to move one of these guys for something that we need. And the truth is, it's going to be a player much like Spencer Horwitz, or along the development line of where Nick Gonzalez is right now. It's going to have to be somebody like that we're going to have to finish developing. Now, I'm not going to trade the type of pitching that's going to bring back a star, because, then I'd be in the same boat. I wonder if they've even had that kind of a discussion. Do you get what I mean? Because Lord knows they don't want to have that kind of a discussion with us. Now, don't get me wrong. 99.9% of fans aren't going to accept that kind of a discussion anyway. I might. I'm sick in the head like that. Okay? That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. I want to hear like, yeah, listen, we're going to have to take our medicine here because this didn't work, or we didn't get to this milestone, or we didn't achieve this thing we were trying to achieve. We fell short. And this is the way we're going to have to fix it. Let's talk more about what could be next. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is the supplement clinically tested that targets the root cause of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. And you can feel good about it knowing Nutrafol is an NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data, visuals, get smart categorization for your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. It helps organize, especially streaming apps. There are so many of them, and they all have different times of the month where the money comes out, and they'll increase the prices on you without notifying you necessarily, or if they do, it's in an email you ignored. That Monarch really helps with all this stuff. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Hey, welcome back to Locked On Pirates. Oh, what's next for Cherington and those battling buccos? I mean, Cherington's tone in this presser was the way you would expect. He was contrite. He's tried to sound optimistic. He used his squint analogy again. I wish he hadn't. He said you don't have to squint hard to see this rotation being a strength for 2026. And he's right, but we still hated the last time you used that, bro. Anyways, he's not wrong about some of it. The pitching progress is very real. He calls out Skeens, Jones, Barco, Bubba, but the organizational hitting development in his eyes is showing signs, just not at the MLB level. He was asked why. He didn't really seem to have a good answer for it. He wanted to give a lot of credit to how hard Matt Haig's working. Man, I mean, I heard that about the last hitting coach and the hitting coach before him and Derek Shelton, who also he expressed no regrets on, but he admits that he learned some lessons at least from. I don't know what that means necessarily. Offense remains the Achilles heel, but it seems to me like they don't plan too many like higher level changes going on this year if Cherington stays. Sounds like few leadership hires they're expecting. They're still committed to changing some things, but not necessarily a lot. And they definitely want to improve a few areas, but sounds like a lot more at the major league level as far as like the continuation of their development program than it does necessarily in the minors. They seem pretty happy with where they are on everything there. Um, I, I'd have to agree with all that. Fans are just getting tired of hearing it. Cherington continued to stress the importance of that internal development. I think it's important that fans hear that when they say it, because those of you that are expecting this team to go out there and do something major on the market because somebody learned a lesson, I think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. That doesn't mean that I don't think they'll sign anybody, even that's an impact. I think they might, but I wouldn't expect anything like super earth shattering, and I certainly wouldn't expect anything that's like a 4 or 5 year commitment down the road. The other thing Cherington was asked about was potentially signing Connor Griffin to a contract early, now, basically, before he's even going to debut. I've brought this up before on the show. I think it's a smart idea. I think it gives the fans a better message. It gives you a bigger window with your player. Make sure that nobody worries about playing games about when you call him up. It's just when he's ready, not anything arbitrary to save money or time or anything like that. I love the idea of it. Cherington said they're open to it. They haven't discussed it at all. It's something he sees that they're going to have to try to do more of. I totally agree with that. I would hope that this transcends a general manager. This is something I think this organization, as long as baseball is structured in this fashion, is going to have to do. There's news about Paul Skeens. They have not approached him about potentially signing any kind of an extension. Paul told us that the other day. Cherington confirmed that. Cherington hasn't even gotten to the point where he wonders if it's a question that they should even carry on a further dialogue yet. He went into some diarrhea of the mouth explanation about it. Bottom line is we didn't talk yet. Now, I have heard that Paul Skeens and Bob Nutting have had conversations. Now, that doesn't mean that they're working on some behind-the-scenes contract that Ben Cherington isn't being let in on. I'm just telling you, as far as I understand, those two have communicated both about Paul's expectations for the franchise, his expectations for how he may move forward with the franchise, broad strokes type stuff. And I don't know how far that's ever gotten to or what that would ever amount to, but I know that it's happened. At least I've been told it has. I'd love to see the Pirates do things like that. I think that's important. The other thing I wanted to mention is if Bob Nutting truly hasn't made his decision yet, a really big press conference like this where giving 20-some minutes to the poll reporters is not something Ben Cherington has done often this season, especially not when they didn't have a major thing to be discussing, such as the trade deadline in bulk or trading a specific player or signing a draft pick, or where something else was the major news and you were just going to opine on the state of the union, basically. It's possible that Bob Nutting could see some of these answers as, evaluation themselves. If he hasn't made his mind up, I would imagine that the things that he said in this press conference would probably trickle back to Bob and maybe give him an idea of what Ben's vision of the future is. And maybe Bob doesn't share that. Maybe they can actually come to some kind of a meeting of the minds about how this team could move forward in a more productive way. Because really what I heard mostly from Ben was more of the same. And I just don't think fans have a stomach for it anymore. I really don't. And I don't think that there's going to be anything this team is even financially capable of doing that would make fans truly believe that they were efforting winning it all in 2026. You feel me? The Pirates give fans a glimpse of what could be this weekend. Dominant pitching, timely hitting, and a blowout win. But Ben Cherington's press availability reminded us of how far this team still has to go. With no guarantee of his return, off-season just became a lot more interesting. Thanks for listening to Locked On Pirates. I'm Gary Morgan. I'll catch you next time. Let's go, Bucks.